Next up, at UFC 309, we got Chris Weidman. He's not a New Yorker anymore. South Carolina, Chris Weidman taking on Eryk Anders. Chris Weidman, 16-7 in his career. 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off that double eye poke knockout win. He's taking on Eryk Anders. 16-8 in his career. 2-3 in his last 5 as well. Coming off a decision win over Jamie Pickett. Chris Weidman is not what he used to be, but he's still very good. He's the former middleweight champion of the world. He was the first champion ever out of the Serra Longo fight gym. Obviously not including Matt Serra. I'm talking about the actual fighters that they built. He's a great wrestler. He wrestled in college. He's got solid striking. He's had a great career. He's an all-time great personality. Watch any of the, he won't be on this one, but watch any of the pay-per-view weigh-in shows. The guy's spectacular. Arguably one of the better middleweights we've ever seen. He is 40. He is slowing down. He's coming off that infamous double eye poke win over Bruno Silva. And the UFC said, we want the hometown kid to win. But it's interesting when you're matching up somebody like Weidman because he is a former world champion. So you have to give him, and he's got a name, so you have to give him somebody that has a little bit of notoriety. You can't give him an absolute nobody because they like him. And they said, let's give him Eryk Anders. Eryk Anders has some notoriety. He's a fun guy to watch, but he's somebody that Chris might be able to beat. Eryk Anders does spell his name like an absolute lunatic. Oh, Mr. Football pegged himself in the nuts. Eryk Anders does spell his name like a lunatic, but he's good. He's wildly athletic. He can wrestle. He can strike. He's competed in, what an absolute. Yeah, I know you have a tiny dick too. That ball didn't make it past your belly button. It's not like you hit yourself with the knee. Fucking pencil dick. Eryk Anders can mix in punches and kicks really well together. Okay speed. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he throws some heat. He has gotten himself into trouble in the past because he keeps his hands pretty low, but his path to victory in most fights is to come forward, wrestle, be athletic, be big, be strong, and beat people up. He's rarely the most technical fighter, almost always the tougher, more athletic fighter. He is coming off of the win over Jamie Pickett where he looked strong, but he was dropped. And getting dropped by Jamie Pickett, not the best look. And I think that's why this is the matchup. I think the UFC is like, here's two guys that'll put on a show. Weidman's getting a little older, but he's somebody we want to take care of, and that's why they did this. And the Chris Weidman that fought Brad Tavares, his first fight back after his leg snapping in half, was a very different Chris Weidman than the one we saw in the Bruno Silva fight. The Bruno Silva fight, yeah, there was a bunch of eye pokes, but he physically looked good. He didn't seem insanely slow. He didn't seem out of sorts. And I think that version of Chris, and now the next version of Chris, can win this fight. I'm picking Chris to win. I am expecting this to be wildly sloppy, but it should be fun. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I think there was a quote from Weidman today. He said something about bringing in something fucking crazy, or I'm gonna put on the performance, or I'm gonna fucking. It was like a not like a typical. It was something where I was like, oh well, this guy seems pretty confident. I mean, fucking.
I watched him mow his lawn. It was great. It was like an Angelo vlog. Just mowed his lawn. They videotaped the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, he was so proud about the big gas-powered backpack blower. And then he had a
battery-powered mower. Yeah, battery-powered mower.
It's like, come on, man, you got to fire. That's the whole point. Yeah. Fire that thing up, man. You ever have issues? You didn't fucking mow grass when you're through my fucking kidding. There's no way you ever mowed a single yard in your entire.
What are you out of your mind? Of course,
sitting there as a little kid, struggling.
Dude, Hunter, I grew up in fucking Connecticut. I didn't mow a lawn. What are you out of your mind? I also had to rake the leaves, do the mulch twice a year. I did all that shit. Why don't you tell us who you think wins?
You went out there and helped the landscapers that your parents had running the mill there around the house.
We didn't have landscapers. My dad
maid fold the laundry too, Angelo.
My dad grew up in Bed-Stuy,
You helped the
New
chef.
York.
You had the chef cook the food, Angelo.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and tell us who wins this fight?
Angelo grew up in a penthouse apartment in New York City. Never saw a blade of grass until he was fucking 23 years old.
Okay.
I'm out there grinding for the people.
Blue collar. Thank you so much.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Weidman is the underdog here because I think he has the advantage in this fight. What is that advantage? Eryk Anders, what he wants to do at his core is kind of hang on you, push you against the fence, try to get takedowns, and he really wants to play that game. Former national champion football player at the University of Alabama. So this guy is a fucking athlete. He is an ox. He is strong as shit. But that's also kind of what Chris Weidman wants to do at this point in his career. Now, he showed off a little bit more boxing against Bruno Silva, and he thought he had some success in there and all that type of stuff. But against Eryk Anders, I feel like it's going to be a grindy, on-the-fence type fight. And I got to take Chris Weidman 10 out of 10 times. If these two guys are trying to wrestle each other, I got to imagine that Chris Weidman is going to win the wrestling match. So I think that's what it comes down to. In my opinion, I know that Weidman's been chinned. I know that Eryk Anders got chinned a little bit by Jamie Pickett in his last fight as well. I don't think that together they are those type of strikers. In my opinion, this fight has kind of split decision all over it. A close, weird, cage control type fight. And if it goes to the judges, I don't see, we talk about destination judges all the time. I bet the Canada card banking on Canadian judges, right? I picked Ceedy. I thought that was going to be a close fight, but I was like, if it goes to a decision, I think they're going to give it to him. Same type of situation here. The hometown kid, Chris Weidman, the crowds will be going crazy. It's a shame that it happens, but we've seen scorecards happen like that before. If it goes to a decision, I trust that they give it to Weidman, even though he's got some bad karma coming his way. But
he does have some karma. He does.
By
have
the way,
some
we
karma
didn't even
with those
mention
iPhones.
this to the top, but we should have mentioned it. But it's good to
gloves?
bring up here is the UFC. If you guys have not heard yet, the UFC, I don't know if it's a commission thing, the New York Commission, but they're going back to the old gloves for this card. They didn't give a reasoning for it. They didn't say if it's going to be from here on, but for this card, they are bringing back the old gloves. So we'll see if that improves the knockouts or what their plan is for that. So
Yeah, and again, it could have something to do with the commission too. Like nobody knows why they just said that, because New York commissions they don't do as many fights as other commissions, and they're sticklers. They try to do things their own way. So they could be like, well, these are not approved equipment, but it could be something as dumb as that.
And somebody said too, and I think there's a rumor that like John Jones was basically like, no, I want to use the old gloves. So like,
dude,
now everyone's got to use the old gloves.
He's gotten them to move entire fight cards, so anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean that's a very likely outcome. If he's like, yeah, I kind of enjoy the old gloves, and they're like, well, fucking everybody's using the old gloves.
Yeah, that's not unreasonable. Listen, $7,700 for Chris Weidman. While I do think he can win this fight, I'm not going to put him in my lineup. $7,700. I agree with Jacob. We're on the same page here. We both picked Weidman, but this could be just a sloppy mess of a fight. Really fun for us as fans. This is not a fight that you can count on in a DraftKings fantasy lineup. I do believe Jakey Boy has some action here, so if you want to check out that bet and the rest of our bets, both his and mine, we've been killing it lately. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire month. You could access all the picks, the tools, the round line leans, the artificial intelligence, every single thing that we do. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Bunch of super chats. I'm going to run through them. One of these is massive. $8.99 New Zealand from BetSam. We Want Picks, become a member today. Well, thank you, BetSam, using our audience to build his own, but whatever, we'll take it. We appreciate you. He has been killing it.
Congrats on all the success, Sam.
That
sounded sarcastic.
No, it wasn't sarcastic. No, he's a We Want Picks guy. Calls into the show, does all the things. We have 5,000 knocks from Philip Lundstrom. I looked it up. I did the knock to US dollar conversion. That's $450. So Philip Lundstrom, thank you for the wildly generous $450.
Excuse me.
That's for Jacob. Yeah.
So let me
Go ahead.
fill up. What's I can't read that. What it says? What's his name?
Philip Lundstrom.
Yeah, I'll fill you up, bitch. Got him, Philip. We got him, baby. Nice job, Philip. $450 for the joke of the day. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. My grandmother was very proud Norwegian, so I have Norwegian blood in me. It's hard to be humble when you're Norwegian. She had a pin like that, and she had Norway flags everywhere. So we appreciate that, and Lock of the Week video out tomorrow, so we'll find out. Sorry, I can't answer the question, but I'm not spoiling it.
We appreciate that wildly generous
Add a couple zeros.
Boomer Esiason, a very well-known Norwegian, as is Anna and Elsa, also Norwegians. H. Hoy, $349. That's how I'm going to be talking for the next fight card we break down. H. Hoy, $349. Y'all think Stipe can survive all 5 rounds or KO round 2? I don't think it gets out of the first round. We'll break that down a little bit. Thank you for the super chat. $4.99 from Bogdan Svitin. Quit my job, gambling full time. We Want Picks has the best value in the fight game. What is fun?
It's
Woo!
Be careful there. Right.
Thank you for the super chat.
Good luck, Bogdan.
We appreciate you. Sal Cuchilla. Long shot slip thoughts, boys. Elliott, McGee, Wiseman. Who the fuck's Wiseman? Plus 3.5.
Stupid idiot. No context clues there?
I'm joking.
I'm joking. Yeah, I bet.
Chris Weidman's on the screen.
No,
dummy.
I bet. Yeah.
Silva Oliveira. Listen, I don't.
Another line.
I don't agree with all of these picks, so
Just
it's a decent long shot.
It's a fucking long shot.
Yeah.
I pray to God you're already a premium member. You already blew $5 there.
Well, and on this super chat, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Very generous. Again, Philip Baby with the $500. Thank you all very much.